going on YouTube? How's everybody today? Let's get to here. So today we're going to talk about this influential kind of British band, part of the Manchester scene, the 80s, early 90s, called the Happy Mondays. The name of this album is pretty atrocious. It's called Squirrel and G-Man 24-hour party people, plastic vase, Carnt smile. Not can't smile, Carnt smile. Where's the Carnt on here? Carnt. What the fuck? And in brackets whiteout. I don't know. It was released in 1987 on Factory Records. Happy Mondays is this, I don't know, this kind of alt-rock, British rock kind of funk-infused Manchester band. They are a very influential band back then. They formed in 1985, broke up in 1992. I think they reformed, got back together at some point in the early 2000s. I actually hung out with a member of here. I don't know if he was the guitarist or what. I didn't get his name. All I know is he had a DJ set at this bar I work at called Halo. And he was doing a DJ set there, and he needed someone to take him outside so he could have a cigarette. So I just had a cigarette with this guy, and he said he was in Happy Mondays, and like I didn't, you know, do anything, just sit there and chill with the guy, but very brief encounter, whatever. But yeah, I guess these guys have a reputation for being like drug addicts and like party animals. Someone called them delinquents without any kind of agenda. The lead singer, Sean Ryder, has a very big reputation of being like a goon and a thug and like, you know, just a general menace to society. But yeah, these guys are part of this Manchester scene. The Manchester scene was the scene in England where I guess all these Brit kids are getting into like house music and into raves, and they're doing all these drugs. It's a very drug-addled scene, a lot of ecstasy and heroin and probably psychedelics and probably cocaine too. Like, who knows, drugs galore. These guys have a very, you know, alternative rock sound mixed with a lot of like disco funk and this genre called Northern Soul that's known for like all this heavy bass and like fast tempos and stuff. So this music's very melodic and funky. This is their debut album, and on their debut album somehow they got this producer named John Cale, who's a member of Velvet Underground, and he's a very like a musical legend. He's produced albums for like all these greats like Brian Eno, Lou Reed, and like Susie and the Banshees, and Nick Drake, the Stooges, on and on, like all these people. So how these kind of like little miscreants got John Cale to produce their debut album without even being like, you know, professional musicians or anything is pretty amazing. Like, these guys are in the same scene as like Stone Roses and New Order and Smiths, and like I hear a lot of Tom Tom Club in their sound too. It's kind of like a kind of a fun, irreverent vibe to it, but it's only their debut album, so it's not instantly memorable. There's not a lot of surprises on here. It can get a lot repetitive. The main highlight of the album is pretty much just the bad singing and like, you know, the rhythmic bass and stuff like that. The singing on here is a very, like, it's got a very kind of sneery, kind of smarmy attitude. He sings off key a lot, and like his lyrics are mostly just unintelligible rubbish, and you can't really tell what he's singing when you can. It's just like gobbledygook, kind of just songs that kind of about like drug references and songs about, you know, robbing people on street coaches and all this British slang. But yeah, I guess these guys were one of the first bands to later on like start experimenting or infusing like house music sounds and house music rhythms and like even hip hop on here. Also on this album, they didn't include like the single on it. The single on here was called 24-Hour Party People, and it was actually used in this documentary about Factory Records called 24-Hour Party People. But it wasn't included on the album at first. Instead, they had this song called Desmond, but they had to remove it because Michael Jackson made them, because he owned the rights to the Beatles, and that song was ripping off Obla Di, Obla Da, Life Goes On a lot. It was ripping it off pretty hard, so I guess MJ stepped in, and they were like, okay, we'll put a different song on, I guess, and like, whew. It's pretty rough when Michael Jackson has to intervene into your career so early in it, too. It's pretty weird, but yeah, it's pretty much just an album about this drug-addled view on life in Manchester during the Manchester scene. Another funny thing about these guys that I read is there's actually a member named Mark Berry who's only credited with percussion, but I don't think he actually plays percussion. I think he might play some like shakers, whatever those maracas. But the story with that guy is he just started dancing on stage and made friends with Sean Ryder, I guess. And his whole thing was the band would just get him all fucked up on booze and drugs and just load him up with chemicals, and his whole thing would be to just dance around on stage. And that's pretty much what the band was known for their live shows, because this maniac guy would just be dancing all frantically around stage and stuff. Yeah, it's a pretty uneven album. Some parts of it are pretty like vocally twisted, kind of mangled. Like the music's pretty simple in the background, just some repetitive bass, you know. It's got a little bit, like I said, like funk fusion with some Brit rock. Later on in the career, they'd get a lot more electronic and, like, you know, incorporating their keyboards a lot more. Like on my favorite album was The Pills, Spills and Bellyaches. That was the first album I bought from them, just on a whim, and I really liked it. I heard of the Happy Mondays because I was really into Kids in the Hall a long time ago. Kids in the Hall is this comedy show from Canada. They do like weird sketches, kind of like Ricky Shore Sings. And there's a member, an actor, a comedian on it called Bruce McCullough, and I had his album, and he has a song, I think it was the song about, you know, our love. Our love is like a Happy Mondays album, or is better than a Happy Mondays album. So it just made me check it out, because I'd listened to that song a lot just because it was really funny, and I'd check out the Happy Mondays just because why not? And I was pretty impressed with it. Just the only Dirt Bayou album, just songs about, you know, robbing and bashing people and being chemically enhanced and partying and stuff like that, from what I could decipher, since the lyrics are mostly like just nonsensical. But not much in the way of artwork. Just a picture of fish in the cover. I think that's some food and booze with the font on top of it. But yeah, they're a very influential band. If you're a fan of like Oasis and Blur and you want to kind of hear what their influences are, you can check out Happy Mondays. They did get a lot better than this album. The sound did evolve a little, and they kind of did self-destruct a little because of their whole drug problem with ecstasy, and like the lead singer Sean Ryder being like a heroin addict, a very hard one. But anyway, Squirrel G-Man, 24-hour party people, plastic face, Carnt smile, in brackets, wide out, Happy Mondays, 1987 Factory Records debut album. I'm out of here.